I've got one on all over the place. We'll find out if the Wi-Fi likes me on this end with Restream, because sometimes does some funky stuff, and I think it's again, but whatever. We just get out here, get out our message, and what. Also going live on Instagram on my Instagram page. So if you'd like to go check that out, that's snbrand26 is the Instagram page. So going live there. So if I'm looking all over the place, it's because we got IG going on here, we got Restream going on here and whatnot. But to start off with, as we always have going on, I want to give out a shout out to our sponsors that allows us to do this, to come and share our message, share our story with the several different routes and highlight those individuals that are doing big things, businesses that are really focused on the community and really wanting to take care of other individuals and show up and share the spotlight with other people. And so, of course, the first sponsor is Tabala's Food for Thought, Tabala Creative Cuisine with Jasper Axelrad. Jasper and Tabala, very big, key, integral part in the community by showing up, showing out, highlighting small businesses and getting their story shown and shared with others. Grateful for Jasper Tabala and what they do. We have Rock City Cafe. You have Ricky and his wife Angel, and Brittany, who does the waitressing at Rock City Cafe. Great location. Highly suggest if you're in Colorado Springs, go check them out. Beautiful location, focused on the community, and they're big on building that relationship within the community. They're a community spot. We've got clocks going on right now, so it's all good. I'm trying to get as close to the Wi-Fi as I can, but with Rock City Cafe is rock music, solid food, and a feel-good local spot for the people. Come enjoy delicious eats with the great atmosphere. Rock City Cafe, located at 1812 Dominion Way. Check out the menu at facebook.com/Rock City Cafe CS. Locally run, locally family-oriented business, locally focused on the community. And then we have the Chicken Coop, and what they do, Miss Shay, with her drive, her passion, her for the community, such a beautiful thing. We went out there this past week on Tuesday, was able to get some great pictures. Shout out to Mandy Penn Photography and Mandy Penn for getting those pictures captured and to highlight who Miss Sherry is with the Chicken Coop and what they are about as an organization, as a bar, as a business. But the Chicken Coop is a local bar for local people, hosting local events. Come check their daily happy hour from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. They do poker, live bands, and support their local community and veterans. The Chicken Coop, located at 11627 Black Forest Road. Check them out at facebook.com/The Chicken Coop. The Chicken Coop, a clucking good time. And so thank you to our sponsors. Thank you for those that have partnered with us and trusted us to showcase them, to get their story out, but to allow us to be part of their journey. And so this week went through a challenge about message. And it's very unique because we all have a message, and how many of you are actually going out there to share your message? How many are you going out and letting people truly know what you're about? And so when I went through the 7-day challenge, and it was called Your Message Matters, it was a very beautiful thing because it helped fine tune that message. And so when I look at my message for what I do when it comes to helping individuals that have gone through a divorce or maybe have lost a relationship, and you look at yourself and you don't know who you are, you've lost your identity was wrapped up in your relationship. And that can be a tough thing because a lot of times you lose who you are, you lose that voice, you lose who you're meant to be. And so for me, I look back, and there was this one point in time that my ex-wife just looked at me and she's like, I don't know if I want to be married. I don't know if I love you. I just don't know. And so when I heard those, I was standing against the wall, and it just came and hit me like a pile of bricks. And I legitimately could have slammed my head through the wall that I was leaning against, because I didn't know. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know my story. I didn't know my purpose. my identity was that relationship. And so sitting there broken, don't know the emotions that were running through my body, and just not understanding who I was, and just feeling the anger, the pain well up inside of me. And that's why when I look at it, that pain that was there, I could have ran my head through the wall because I was leaning next to the wall, and I could have through the wall. That's how the emotions were coming. And so now it's led me to that point where I found who I was. I found my message. I found my story. And it's come to the point of helping other individuals that don't know who they are, have lost that way because their identity was wrapped up in the relationship, whatever that relationship was. I've heard some individuals that they had a business, and when COVID came through and things were shutting down, people were losing their identity because their identity was their business. They didn't know anything else. And so think about it, that story that they have was wrapped up in that business. And so for me, went through that, came to the point where just hit rock bottom, and was able to start working my way up, start finding out who I truly was, getting to the point where I could get to know who Scott was. And it was getting to that point to going and completing myself. But before I got to that point where I was able to complete myself, it was doing the work, that of personal development, finding my tribe, finding those people that I could lean into that saw more in me than who I saw in myself. And it's one of those things that a lot of times you get wrapped up and you don't know what's going on. And people can see more in you than you see in yourself. But if you're going through those times and you just don't truly know who you are, your identity was wrapped up in that relationship or the business, whatever it is, you have a story that is meant to be shared through that pain, through the turmoil, through the struggles. You have that gift that's meant to be shared with the world. But it comes down to the fact that, are you going out there and sharing it? You letting people know that, hey, it's okay. You're going through the shit right now, but you can get to the other side. It's a matter of coming together and working. And so if you're not sharing your message, somebody's missing out. And what's that message? And it comes down to the fact that maybe you're at a place, you're at rock bottom, or you're at baseline, and you don't know what to do. You don't know how to get out there to share your message. You don't know how to share your story with others. And you're like, I would love to share my message. I would love to share my story with others. Well, that's where it comes down to sit and talk with a coach, sit and talk to somebody that can be a partner with you, that can create that partnership to help you extract that message that is meant to be shared with others. Because when I looked at it, I tried going and doing stuff on my own, and that just did not work out well, because as humans, when we go through and we have that pain and that suffering, we don't want to show up and we don't want to ask for help because we're already beaten down. And so we're at a point where we're like, if I express what's going on and I share my message with somebody, what are they going to think? And so you go through that point, you have the turmoil, and it is hard because you're in pain, you're hurting. And so you've got to do the work before you can go out there and get that message shared with whoever needs to hear it. And so that's where it comes into working with somebody, working on yourself to get to the point where you can forgive yourself, where you can accept yourself for who you are. You're able to give yourself that closure. Power of your message that's meant to be shared with others, because within that struggle, within that pain is a story that is meant to be shared. And so for me, going through this, it is working with individuals to work on that relationship with themselves, to go and love themselves for who they are, to forgive themselves for what has taken place. Because a lot of times people don't know, give themselves grace and space. And it's tough. And so it is sitting there and finding individuals that you can trust and you can lean into that can help you give yourself that grace, but also create that space for you that you need to do the work. And so that's one of the things when it comes to what I do as a coach is working with individuals to help them find that story that's meant to be shared. But it goes back to the fact that what is your story and who needs your story? And are you getting in your own way because you're scared? Because of what's taking place, you don't know what's going to happen. And maybe you're looking and you're, well, my story is just an ordinary story. Like, who's going to resonate with it? Guess what? A more ordinary story is going to resonate with a lot more people than the out of this world extraordinary story, because people can resonate with that. They can resonate with that message because many have gone through it. But you got to understand that not everybody resonates with everyone. My story is not going to resonate with everybody, but there are certain people that it will resonate with. And so it's the same thing for you as an individual that has this story. And maybe there's other individuals that you know that have similar stories, but they're not going to resonate with everybody. It's just one of those things that we don't resonate with everyone. And it's a beautiful thing about being a human and having these stories and these messages that we can share and help other people get through the shit, whatever they're dealing with. But it's a matter of extracting that message and share with others. The power of a message is a huge thing, because you just never know what could be inside that message, what could be inside that story, that nugget that somebody needs to make that 1 degree of change. And so that's the power of working with individuals, because I've stated before, there's African proverb that you can go fast by yourself. And when you think about it, if you go by yourself, you can go fast because you're not having to worry about other people. But guess what? You're limited by your experiences. You're limited by your perception, by your lenses. So you can go very fast, but by the time you hit that plateau, whatever it is for you, how are you going to overcome that? Because you're only one person. And now if you go together with the group, whatever that group is, you can go very far, because the thing is, each of us have different experiences. Each of us have different lenses that we're looking at life through. And so that's what allows us to be able to go further along working together, because of the fact of the differences that people have. But we have to get over the fact, we have to get over our ego and punch the damn ego in the face and tell it down and show up and share that message and that story with somebody else. Because you could be that one individual that goes and helps somebody adjust. You could have that one nugget that they need, that they can take and go run with and make that change. And so it's one of those beautiful things when you really think about it, that everybody's going to receive something differently from your message. But you've got to get out of your own way and quit being a jackass and a jerk and share that message. And don't be scared. That's the big thing. A lot of people are scared to share their message because they're worried about what other people are thinking, what other people are saying. And you can't do that, because if you're worried about everybody else, you're missing out on the opportunity to impact somebody else that needs to be impacted. Because the thing is, everyone has problems. Everyone's gone through something that gives them that ability to become the expert, the ability to give a tool, to give something to somebody that can help them out. And so people are waking up. People have problems, but they're not saying, hey, where's the solution at? That's where you got to share your message, because you have a solution. You have had the ordinary store. You've had the same problem that these other people have had, and you are extraordinary because you were able to overcome that problem. And when you overcame that problem, you were able to create a solution that you were able to work with to get to that next level, to get to the point where you're thriving and exceeding. And so it's the fact that you have to share it because it's going to help somebody else out. But it's a matter that you've got to get out of your own way. And right now I'm just looking at my notes here just because there are things in regards that you've got to figure out. And the fact that your message matters. Everybody's message matters. But it's a matter of getting out of your own way and sharing that with individuals because somebody else needs to hear it. And it can be a tough thing. And it goes because I think the thing we have to overcome is the fact that what are others going to think? What are others going to say? And it's like, okay, cool. If somebody says something, all right, that's cool. They weren't meant to be part of your journey. They're not part of your mission. Or you're just not that person that resonates with them. But maybe there's somebody in that same room that resonates better than that other individual. That's like, why do I need to listen to this? And you could impact that other life by sharing your message. They could run with it and go and do big things. Maybe they get the courage to share their message because you showed up and you played big and you're providing that to those individuals. But it's a matter that you've got to, if you really want to get this message out and impact a lot of people, one of the things that a lot of individuals are missing out is getting onto other people's stages. And so I've told people, if you want to come on the podcast, let me know, reach out, send me an email, send me a direct message through Facebook, through YouTube, because Restream is going on to my personal Facebook page, the Two Native Sons Facebook page. It's going on to our YouTube channel and then the Twitch channel for Two Native Sons. And then I have a live stream for Instagram here. And so that's where you have multiple different ways to reach out. And the beautiful thing is that you just have to show up and give value to other people by going and leveraging other people's stages. It's not going to cost you because somebody else is doing the work. Somebody else is doing all that legwork. You just have to show up and provide that value to others. And so that's the thing of there are other individuals that you could connect with and go and share your message with their audience. And maybe there's people in that audience that don't know you. And because you had reached out, hey, this is the value that I can provide your audience, you could connect differently with a person because they resonate with you. But maybe they don't know who you are because you're just not in that circle of influence, that circle, that sphere and whatnot. But the other fact that it does come up in regards to that, you've got to create your own stage. And so that's where it's going and doing the lives. That's where it's going and creating a YouTube channel. That's where it's going and creating your own podcast, whatever it is. Go on Twitch, do the Facebook Lives, but you've got to get over your own ego. You've got to get over yourself. And I find it unique because you'll have a lot of individuals that will post motivational stuff. They'll go and post different things, and it's resharing somebody else's idea, which is okay. A lot of times we look, there's not a lot of original ideas because things have spoken and things have been passed down generation to generation, books. And so when you look at it, when you start looking at the podcasts, the books, you go into the coaches, the mentors, the speakers, you're going to pick something up that resonates with you. And then the powerful thing is you'll take that information and start creating your own tools, your own tool set that is in your own verbiage, in your words. And what that does is it allows you to create that momentum, to create that story to share with somebody else that maybe they would have never heard that message because they didn't know that person. So you need to go and create your own stages. You need to get out of your own way and go and do lives. You've got to get out and verbally share, because the unique thing is you can go and type a post, you can go do a blog, but the thing is, when somebody reads that, it's hard to gather the emotion. It's hard to potentially connect with somebody through the writing. You've got some individuals that are very strong in writing, which is great, and they have that capacity, they have that skill set to connect with somebody through their writing. But the beautiful thing about doing a podcast, about doing a YouTube channel, about doing the lives, is you can connect with individuals through a more emotional connection piece, because they're able to see faces, they're able to see body language, they're able to hear how you speak. They can pick up the energy based on what's going on and whatnot. And so that's where you've got to find out a way to get your message out there. But it goes in regards that if you're scared to share your message, or you don't know what that message is, or you've gone through some shit and your message is hiding, reach out to somebody, reach out to a coach, reach out to a mentor, reach out to somebody that can help you work through that to get to that point where you can share your message. And then it may be the fact that your passion is to go and share that story with others and to start the process to help others to start doing the deep dive and start doing the change. Because the thing is, it's unique because during the challenge, Pete Vargas, who was one of the moderators for the challenge, had talked about a quote that Zig Ziglar had shared. And Zig had talked about that he really never had the ability to change somebody else's life through a speech, through a speaking gig. And that's the thing. It's the fact that somebody can go do a live and that can spark something, but really what goes into the point of helping somebody that huge change to start doing the work to change their life and get to the point where they want to be at and make the deep dive change by having that deeper connection with somebody. And so that's the power of a coach. That's the power of working with somebody to go and do a deeper dive, because ultimately that's where the biggest change is going to occur. That's where that major impact is going to occur. And so and this goes into a little bit about what Pete had talked about during this challenge. And it's the fact that when you look at sales, because somebody be like, man, he's trying to push sales, he's trying to push something. But you know what? When you're looking at sales in the wrong mindset, and it's unique because he had talked about 3 things that hold people back in making a big push with their business in regards to the impact that they're making. And one of the things was having that wrong mindset when it came to sales. And you'll have a lot of people reflected. And for myself, it is one of these things that it's unique because Pete had hit on it. You'll have a lot of people that will say, I don't want to be salesy, I don't want to be pushy. But ultimately, I found about the challenge through email. And I've been through some different things with Pete and whatnot, but you've got to look at that. It's not sales, but it is a way to impact the life of somebody else. And so that's the power of having a product, but that's where it comes into sharing your message, to start connecting with people, to start bringing people together, to want to, they hear the message, they hear what you've gone through, and they're like, man, I want to do more, I want to go deeper. And so once they connect with your message, having some product or service that to go deeper is huge, because that is impacting that person that's going and impacting their life, and think about what potentially happens with their family tree, what potentially happens with the individuals that that person knows because of the impact that you had on their life and helping them to make that change in regards to whatever it is, how much impact that can have going out because you looked at it differently and you looked at it as an opportunity to impact somebody else's life. And so when I look at my story and what I went through and what I'm individuals, it is that work on the relationship with yourself. And that's why I'm very big when I talk to people is the biggest relationship that we have to work on and that we need to focus on and fix is the relationship with ourselves, because that relationship with ourselves bleeds out to everything else. And if we don't have a good relationship with ourselves, what does that do with our interactions with everybody else? How does it impact how we look at the world, impact the relationships that we have with our friends, with our coworkers, within our business, within any? And it's a powerful thing because your relationship with yourself bleeds into everything else. And so that's one of those things when I look at it, like not truly knowing who I was. And that's why I say I'm grateful that my divorce did take place, because it got me on the trajectory of the journey that I'm on now, even though life, your whole journey of life is that journey. And so it's looking at the journey and saying, okay, what can I learn from this? Looking at me, not looking at the destination, but looking at the journey and finding ways of what's impacted you. How have you grown? How have you progressed? That's part of that journey. That journey is there to allow you to become who you're meant to be. But are you going and walking down this journey aware, and are you looking for ways that are going to help you progress and going to help you grow? Because that's the thing. If we can get out there, and if I can work with individuals, and I've helped individuals find their voice, I've helped individuals find their true self and really start working to connect with themselves, and then looking at other parties as a complementary piece to who you are as an individual, it's a huge thing to see what happens for individuals when they start making that shift, when they start doing things differently and looking at things differently. And so it does go into the fact of it has started with a message and my story and what I've gone through and where I've gotten because of that. And so that's where it's working with individuals to help them find their message, find their story, but also work to connect with themselves and work to build and make that relationship with themselves. Because a lot of times we put ourselves to the side and we're trying to fit into a paradigm, into a box that somebody else has created for us. And so that's where it comes into a point where you've got to look, and I've talked about this a couple episodes ago, where you've got to play with your own blocks, get in your sandbox and start experimenting. But you've got to look at the instruction booklet that you have. That instruction booklet that somebody else has built for you, is that your instruction booklet, or do you need to tear that up, throw it away, and create your own instruction booklet that is who you are, that is meeting who you are as an individual? And so that can be a tough thing, because now you do the deep dive and you have to find who you truly are, take off that pseudo mask that you've been putting on and you're used to putting on, and going out playing big and showing up true to yourself. But it's a matter of doing that work, and it's not easy work. And so that's where it's the power of working with somebody else, having somebody there with you. And so if you have a point where you're stuck and you don't know where to go, or you feel and you know there's a story there that somebody else needs to hear and you don't know how to extract it, or your relationship with yourself is pure garbage, let's sit down and let's talk, and let's see how we can work and help you get to that next level, get to where you need to go. And so if you'd like to do that, you can have a couple different options. You can send a D through IG. You can send a private message through my personal Facebook page. You can send it to a couple of the emails. Many ways that you can make that connection, because we all have a message. Somebody else needs to hear a message, or you need to work and make sure your relationship with yourself is very strong, because that's going to help you in every other aspects of your life, just doing the work and whatnot. So it's one of those things that you need to know and go out there and share your message, and you can't be scared to share it, because somebody else needs to hear it. Somebody needs to know what you did to get to where you're at. What was that one key thing that you need to bring others into the room and feel and hear and see what you saw and smell what you saw, feelings that you were having? What was the pivot point? And now where are you at because of that story, because of that adjustment, that issue that really was the down point for you, that one specific down point. And it's just working and creating and building that message, that story. So let me go ahead and pull up Poddex. I don't think for anybody that's watching this on IG, this is the first time I've shared a couple things, I think. And I know individuals that are watching the live stream or listening to the podcast, they know about Poddex. But anybody that's watching this on Instagram, being a content creator, this is a great tool to have. It's called Poddex, and it's a beautiful thing because it does get you into conversations that aren't normally had. Travis Brown that created this, and so it's a beautiful thing because it's a great tool to have in your pocket as a content creator to create different conversation pieces, to connect with individuals and have the non-normal conversations. We'll see if it's working or whatnot. It's being a little so. There we go. Cool. But anybody that's watching this and wants to end up getting the physical decks, because you can physical decks through Poddex, it's 5 decks. There's an affiliate code that I have. It's Let's Go 26 LETSGO 26. I know I've got the clock in the background, so we've got that going 15 different times and whatnot. So, but you can get the physical decks. But another thing that I would highly suggest is going and actually downloading the app, and that's where you're going to get quite a few different decks to work with and really do some things differently and whatnot. So one of the decks here is a newer deck. It's called Globetrotter. And so let's see here. What's the most fascinating museum you have visited? And so the only museum that I visited is one up in Denver, the Denver Museum of Natural History. Actually, I don't know, because in Vegas I was at the Body Expo. That's not really a museum, but if you've never been to those Body Expos, it's a very unique experience. It's very to see that integral parts Body Expos is a beautiful thing because it shows different parts of the body and it's a unique perspective. When I went to college the first time, I was going for nursing. And so one of the classes I had to take was human anatomy with a lab. And that was a unique perspective because they had cadavers in there that we were working on for practicals and stuff. So, but to go to the Body Expo, the body experience, and see that to life and whatnot. But museum-wise, the only museum I've been to is the one up in Denver. And so I guess this is for somebody that travels a lot. Oh, no. But, like it's one of those interesting things, really your different perspectives to hear what really is out for people. It's a beautiful thing. What's the most stressful trip you have ever taken? I don't honestly think I've ever had a stressful trip, but I can see and imagine people overcomplicating their vacation and their trips because you have people that want to plan everything to the T. And that can be one of those things that I'd be like, no, screw this. Like I'd find the plan for what's going to take place. I would crush it up and throw it away. And they'll be like, where'd it go? I don't know. We're here for vacation. We're here to relax. We're here to explore. We don't need everything by every 15 minutes. But, some people love to live that way. But I'm like, man, you're on a trip to recharge and rejuvenate and recharge your batteries. Yeah, some people are like, you gotta have everything to the T. We gotta have it fully planned out. It's like, oh my goodness. And if something goes wrong and your plan goes out of whack, then what happens? You got people that are pissed off and mad and whatnot. Let's see here. Would you rather be raised by a pack of wolves or a tribe of gorillas? I think I've had this one. I don't remember. I think I have, but I think looking at it, it's one of those unique things because you look at wolves and interactions, and I know I've seen Facebook before the picture of the wolves and lion and whatnot, and kind of the breakdown of how the pack works with that setup there. Gorillas, one of those things that it's that tribe mentality, the pack mentality, and man, I think we could learn a lot from different animals and the way their communities work when they build the communities and their tribes and whatnot. But I think for myself, it would I'd rather be raised by a tribe of gorillas. Man, imagine like being raised by gorillas, just how like strong you would be, just because of just how they are. And if that's all you knew, like that would be such a different thing when you really think about it. When you look at it, if that's all you knew, your body's going to take it in because that's what it's receiving and whatnot. So, but for me, it'd be a tribe of gorillas. Would you rather get dentures or wear braces on your teeth for the rest of your life? I go dentures. Forget braces. We're going dentures, because that's one of those things that you can play pranks with some people, even though they make it gross and whatnot. But I'd wear dentures for the rest of my life instead of braces. So, shout out to Travis with Poddex having these crazy cards your conversation. Let's see here. Would you rather have unwavering willpower or a high IQ score? I think, you can create unwavering willpower. You have to do that. Like, you can really point, like, who says you can't have unwavering willpower? That's your choice. But between the two of them, man, and I would go unwavering willpower because, like, if you have a super high IQ, like, you get these people that are super smart and they think they know everything and then they stop learning. I don't know. For me, it'd be one of those things. I'd go with the unwavering willpower. Let's see here. One more. Philosophy. Let's see. If you could go back in time to change one thing, what would it be? And this goes in regards that I wouldn't change anything because everything has occurred for a reason. And so you'll get a lot of people that will have their regrets and they want to go back and change something. But you know what? I look at it as an opportunity that I would go back because there are lessons there that maybe I wasn't fully aware of at the time. And so I go dig through the garbage and extract that learning point, extract that seed of positivity, whatever it is. And so I wouldn't go back to change anything because it's all been part of the journey. It's all led up to where I'm at now. I would just go back to learn, to find those lessons that I didn't see before and take those forward and whatnot. Go back in time to change anything, it would just go, I do it anyways. Just go back and look at the situation, learn, see what I can learn from that. What lessons can I take going forward? But no, nothing that I would change. Honestly, I would not change anything. So, but again, thank you guys for your time. Thank you guys for your support. Anything that you took away from this, anybody that's watching this on IG, anything that you took away, any aha moments, to hear what that was for you, share it in the comments. Anything that you may disagree with, share that in the comment. I love to hear the perspectives of other people, and that's the beautiful thing is, as humans, we're looking at life through different lenses, and so we see things differently. And that's a beautiful thing, that to hear the perspective of somebody else, even though it's different, beautiful thing, because maybe there's something that I maybe missing that I didn't see. And so seeing that perspective, maybe there's something that I learned from it. But again, here for anybody that's watching this on the live for Facebook, YouTube, both Facebook pages, anything that you took away from it, share it. Any aha moments, anything that you look at differently, like it's always say, share. I would love to hear that. There's no wrong answers here. That's the beauty of being human, is having those conversations and whatnot. But again, if there is anything that you're struggling with, you want to go your baseline to thriving, whatever that is, reach out to me. If you want to figure out what that story is that's stuck and you need to share, reach out to me. Send me a private message, send me an email. There's many different ways that you can reach out. Send something. I don't know. Send up a smoke signal for all I care. Maybe go carrier pigeons. But yeah, just if you have anything, don't hesitate. Reach out. Let's sit down. Let's have a talk. Do a 30-minute discovery call. See if we're even a good fit for you and whatnot. But want to help you get to extract that message, your message, or get to the point where you are working on that relationship with yourself. The most important relationship is the one with yourself, not. Other than that, thank you guys for your time. Greatly, truly appreciate everyone's support, everyone that is there in my corner supporting what's happening, but also allow me to be part of your journey, because with the podcast, it does allow me to become part of your journey. Be there for you and share things that maybe you haven't considered or thought about. And that also goes into play too, as you're watching this. If there's something that you'd like me to discuss and talk on, send that through whatever option you want to go. Would love to hear that, see what perspective I can provide, what you have going on. Also, if you'd like to come and be a guest on the podcast, let me know. Reach out. I'm always open to having others on, because it makes conversation even better to have the difference of perspectives and have those conversations. But also, if you're looking to expand your message, grow your business, other people's stages, this is an opportunity here. This is a other person's stage. It's my stage. So come on, let's go. So other than that, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. You guys have a great night. I'll catch you guys later. All right. Peace.